and welcome back. In this original Black Excellence presentation, we will highlight 11 cities on track to pay reparations to Black Americans. Reparations for Black Americans have been debated since the end of slavery, but the only people compensated were slave owners. The federal government reneged on a promise to provide freed slaves with 40 acres and a mule, and Congress has introduced a series of reparation bills that simply went nowhere. But the tide may be changing. Although the pace for approving reparations can be described as woefully lethargic, there are some reparation initiatives that are now starting to gain some meaningful momentum after years of contemplation. There are hundreds of communities across America who are now bringing the discussion before their city councils, and there are even a handful that have voted for and approved commissions to perform studies and engage the community. These commissions have not only drafted proposals on how to fund these potential reparation programs, but they have also presented recommendations on how to implement. In the midst of these efforts, a group of mayors have come together under a coalition named MORE, which is an acronym for Mayors Organized for Reparations and Equity. We salute these mayors, their city councils, and their communities for taking the bold step to first apologize and then take corrective action to help bolster Black home ownership, improve the infrastructure of predominantly Black neighborhoods, and offer education and employment opportunities. In this original Black Excellence presentation, we want to highlight the 11 cities on acting now to distribute reparations to Black Americans. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 7. Sacramento, California. California is the first state in the country to develop a statewide reparations task force to study the history of slavery and the current harms it continues to cause. It was established when Assembly Bill 3121 was enacted in September 2020. However, the mayor of Sacramento, Darrell Steinberg, is taking action to address racial equity, economic inclusion, and affordable housing. Since taking office, he has set an agenda to provide more opportunities for communities of color, especially African American. He started by committing 80% of a 2018 sales tax increase that was projected to generate $50 million a year to better housing and quality education for African American and Latino communities. And over the course of the last 3+ years, Sacramento has invested $119 million into these same areas. Steinberg supports direct payments for anybody who can show that, generationally, they have been disadvantaged as a result of America's original sin, slavery. He believes that with the help of the state and federal government, reparations is an opportunity to expand and intensify the nation's commitment to investing in African American businesses, African American youth, African American home ownership, and in African American nonprofits and creative economy. Number 8. Austin, Texas. Austin Mayor Steve Adler says now is the time to correct the wrongs of Austin's past. He believes that the city has a moral obligation to give its citizens an equitable chance to succeed without coming to the starting line with the burdens that were created by systemic racism in the past. Currently, the city is working with the University of Texas to research ways to better help African American communities. While the exact solutions are still unknown, they could include investing more in schools, broadband, healthcare, businesses, or even restitution. Additionally, Austin City Council is devising a plan to create a Black Resource and Cultural Center in East Austin. Members also voted to formally apologize for the city's participation in the enslavement of Black people, segregation, and institutionally racist practices such as redlining. Council members cited racial disparities among Austinites when it came to life expectancy, homelessness rates, median family income, the likelihood of being harassed and arrested by police, college graduation rates, and health insurance coverage. Austin is committed to give its African American citizens support and resources, but also fully understands its limits without full support at the state and federal level.
All of us gathered here should never forget the famous admonition of the iconic Jamaican reggae star Peter Tosh, when he said, and I quote, "Don't care where you come from. As long as you're a black man, you're an African."
President of the Republic of Ghana.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. Go up, feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to somebody, nothing else to do. Might as well go to the border and drop something brand new. Feeling on the dice, throwing shit down. Making me hard to the sound. About to stop. Hungry that I'm up for the plug now. Cause I found out you liking it. Don't you want it back? Don't you want it back? Don't you want it?
Welcome again, brothers and sisters, to another video from the Black Economic Network Channel. My name is Neville Farkey, and I am the coordinator of the channel. I want to welcome and say thanks to you, brothers, sisters, and cousins of the other races that support our struggle for economic independence. I also want to say special thanks to the brothers and sisters who have been sending content for me to include in the episodes. I want to mention for this particular episode, I got content from two usual people, my good friend in Jamaica, who doesn't want me to mention his name, and from my other good friend, Brother Ozzy T in Trinidad. And in addition, I got content, the Marcus Garvey audio piece of Marcus Garvey, that little segment from Brother Codrick F. near, he has a farm I know in Amityville between Old Harbor and Spanish Town. Remember to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends and relatives and colleagues.
feel about, I know you guys talk about it a lot, but I just wanted to bring it here about, diasporas moving here and, trying to fit into the continent and trying to, we come from the West and stuff like that, but a lot of us know, like, this is where we want to be for many different reasons, whatever your reason may be. How do you feel about, us trying to, like, migrate together and become one?
I think I will quote Marcus Garvey when he said Africa belongs to Africans at home and Africans abroad. So Africa belongs to all of us. And it's time for us to claim what belongs to us. Yeah. Absolutely. So for me, seeing the African diaspora moving back to the continent is so exciting. I mean, I feel like the revolution is really happening because this has always been a dream of Marcus Garvey, but they couldn't come to pass. And knowing the fact that it's happening right now, I believe that wherever Marcus is, he's going to be excited in his grave. And people say I look like Marcus Garvey, so probably I'm actually doing the job of Marcus Garvey just to tell the diaspora that, hey, it's time to make Africa home again.
Did not suffer and die to give me an education to slight, oppress, or discourage my people. Because whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million black people of the world. And the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more life for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumption of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Well, I predicated my view of man on the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, are created in the image of God. Now, from this premise followed the equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men that dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race, because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black.
We are the countries of Africa, the planet's second largest continent right after Asia. We are the countries of Africa. There are 54 countries presently that we will teach ya. I'm Equatorial Guinea, Malabo's my capital. I am Eritrea, Asmara's my capital. Ethiopia is my name, my capital's Addis Ababa. I'm Gabon, my capital's Libreville, nice to meet ya. My name is Gambia, my capital is Banjul. I'm Ghana, my capital, Accra is really cool. Guinea's my name, Conakry's my capital. I'm Guinea-Bissau, Bissau's my capital. My name is Kenya, my capital's Nairobi. I'm Lesotho, my capital Masaru's the place to be. Hi, I'm Liberia, my capital's Monrovia. I'm Libya, my capital's Tripoli in North Africa. Madagascar's my name, I'm Tananarivo's my capital. I'm Malawi, Lilongwe's really peaceful. We are the countries of Africa, the planet's second largest continent right after Asia. We are the countries of Africa.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.